Okay, so I think I need to find how many hours it would take one typist.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to do um. So one typist is like 15 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the seven typists is 15 divided by seven.
Yeah. And it's a calculator question. They say to the nearest minute. So what does it look like?
To the nearest minute. So 2 minutes.
So that's going to be, yeah, that won't work. So it'll be like 2 hours.
Yeah. So is that like 120 minutes?
No, no, no. It's like 0.14 of a minute. So let me just subtract 2 from that. So now it's that thing. So it's that fraction or that decimal. Basically, it's 1/7 of 60.
Okay.
So it'll be that times by 60. And so 2 hours, 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes. Sorry, to the nearest minute. What would that be to the nearest minute?
9 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, that's a tricky one to start with. But yeah, so that's the idea. So direct proportion is y equals kx. Y equals k times x. Inverse proportion is y equals 1 over x. So this time, let's say as one halves, the other doubles. Yeah, so it increases, and it'll be 1 over x times by k. And another way, a simpler way to write that will be y equals k over x. And it helps write it that way for other questions. Okay. Oh, let's try this one.
Okay. So. Okay, so I think for the first one, I think I just need to do the same. So I need to do. So how much would one man take?
Mm-hmm.
I think one man would take 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to do 40 divided by 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's uh,
That's not exact, is it?
yeah, it's nice, like 6.6 recurrent. Okay.
Write your answers for the time taken in fraction form. Okay, so 6 2/3 hours is fine, I think. And actually, a third of an hour is 20 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that'd be 6 hours, 40 minutes. Okay, 3 men.
So 3 men, I think that's just doing 40 divided by 3.
No. If you have half the number of men.
Oh, so would it just be 12 hours and 80 minutes?
Yeah. And can you make that simpler?
Yeah, so 13 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. For both A and B, multiply the exact answer in hours by the number of men. What do you notice? So 6 times 6 2/3. Okay. 6 times. Let me do this. 6 and 2/3. Oh, you get 40. So let's see. That was the time it took one man, wasn't it? 40.
Yeah.
So that one, you're going to get 40. And I assume this one as well. 3 times 13 hours 20 minutes will also give us 40. Okay. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, so that can be a check for your answer at the end. If you multiply the two, you should get how long it takes one now. Yes, k is a constant. Ouch. So just like last time, you have to try to find k. So y equals k over x. So x times y gives you k, the constant. Okay, how do we go about finding these missing letters?
Okay, so do we need to do? Do we need to find here what x and y are so we can time them together?
Yeah, yep.
And
so in this case, they're just calling it A and B.
yeah.
Okay. This is the inverse proportion thing up there.
Yeah. No, I think we did this last week, but I think I've forgotten what I have to do.
So we did direct proportion. Now it's inverse proportion. So it's basically for inverse proportion, y is equal to k over x.
Yeah.
So in the previous example, k was 40. So if you rearrange that, what you get is x times y is equal to k.
Yeah.
And so for this one, what is k? What is x? What is y?
What is it, 10 or 14?
Mm-hmm. So x is 10, y is 14, and if you multiply the two, you get k.
So 140.
Yeah. And so these are inversely proportional. So we know y equals k over x. We know k is 140, and so it's y is equal to 140 over x. And then you can go from there. So how would you use that to get w?
So if you would you just substitute the 20a bit in or something, or
Yeah, sub in 20.
so 140 over 20?
Yeah. So you just sub in the x and y. So w is y, that is that. And what is w?
W is about 7.
Yep. How about x? This next one.
So what I just do 14 equals to 140 over x.
So they called it x, but strangely, like we were calling them x and y, like x just being the top number, y being the bottom number.
Yeah.
So this one is where y goes, same as the w.
Okay, so
And 14 goes where the 20 went.
so would it be 140 over 20? Sorry, 14.
Yeah, and it's x equals that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit confusing that they used capital X. Okay, go on.
I think that's 10.
Yeah. Okay, how about the next one? You have to find this. And again, confusing that they're using these letters.
So I need to do 140 over 70.
Well, 70 is now in the other place.
Yeah, okay. So Is this, so I do 70 equals to 140 over x over y, sorry.
Yeah, so just confusingly they called it capital Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's next?
And then do I need to do 100, do I need to like swap the y and the 70 around?
Yeah.
So it's 140 over 70.
Yeah.
And I think that's 2.
And last one.
And then I think here I just need to do again same thing. So it's 100. So it's 28 equals 140 over z.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do 100. So z is equals to 140 over 28.
Yeah.
And I think that's 5.
Yeah, maybe it is. I'll say 5. So divide the top and bottom by 7. 7, 14, 28. So that's 4 on the top, 20 on the bottom, 5. Yeah. Okay. Any questions there?
No.
And so if they say they're directly proportional, y is equal to kx, find k and then use it. If they say they're inversely proportional, y is equal to k divided by x. So this one is k times x, this is k divided by x. And use x and y to get k, and then use that to get other stuff. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Okay, so this one, directly proportional, inversely proportional, or neither?
Direct proportion. That's proportional. Okay, so first one's direct proportion.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's inverse.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's neither.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's direct.
Nope.
It's not. Okay.
So you see the
is it because y is on the other side?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, neither.
You see this y equals 5 over x?
Yeah.
How would you make it 5 equals?
Y times x.
Yeah, and putting it alphabetically xy. Does that look familiar?
E.
To question D.
So would it just be inverse again then?
Yeah, basically all they did was times both sides by x, so they just rearranged it.
Yeah. Okay.
And E.
Is this inverse?
What if you multiplied both sides by x?
You would get y equals 4x.
And would that be direct inverse or neither?
Direct.
Yeah. And so what D and E are showing is for inverse proportion, x times y gives you k. For direct proportion, y divided by x gives you k. Okay. And very commonly they tell you if it's what way it's proportional. Okay, how do we do this?
So I think. So I think it's like. So I don't know if I need to do like 15 is equals to k over 0.3 or something.
Yep, perfect. Well, I think even before that, okay. So 15 is equal to k over 0.3. Okay, what would you do next?
Then. So wait, so am I doing B now?
You still have to do They want your answer to be something like y equals k over x.
All right.
So keep going with this one. How would you get k?
You would do 15 times 0.3.
Yeah. What is that?
Uh, so this this is like 4.5.
Yeah. And so what is a formula in terms of R and T? So they want R and T in the answer somewhere.
So what do I need to do now? Sorry.
So you see up here, y is inversely proportional to x.
Yeah.
That means y is equal to k over x. So now they're using different letters, but they want you to write something like y equals k over x, except with R and T.
So, but I'll do. Okay, so R is equals to K over T.
And what is k?
4.5.
Yeah. So R is equal to 4.5 over T. Okay, so that's the answer they're looking for A.
Okay.
It's like y equals mx plus c. If they want the equation of a straight line, that's what they're looking for. If they want the formula for inverse proportion, y equals k over x, and you have to figure out what k is. Part B.
So I'm just gonna write this down. So yeah, so I think what I need to do here is do I need to find what T is when it's 0.1?
Just says calculate the value of r when t is 4.
Oh wait, if I just do 4 is equal to 4.5 over T, I'll do that.
That would be if r was 4. They said t is 4.
Oh, sorry. So I mean, so 4.5 over 4.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's like.
I think it's 1.125. It's a calculator anyway. That goes in. Yeah. Any questions there?
Wait, so when they said inverse proportional, you don't actually have to like do any dividing or timesing as such. You just need to really just know the equation.
Oh no, it's not. It's 8 over 9. Wait, 8 over 9?
Can you write? I think you wrote it in wrong because you.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah. 9 over 8, 1.125. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so you don't really need to do like any timesing and dividing as such. You just really need to like know the formula.
So the big picture, I think, is if they say find the equation of the straight line, and you know, well, that's going to be y equals mx plus c. All you have to do is find m and find c. So it'll be like y equals 3x plus 2 or something like that. For direct proportion, it's like it's y equals kx plus 0 because there's no intercept, so it's just y equals kx. And you just have to find k. For inverse proportional, it's y equals k over x, and you just have to find k.
Okay.
K is like m, and there's no c. So it's a similar idea. Yeah, but you always just have to find k, and then that's the formula. And you just use the formula for other stuff.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one.
Okay, so I think I just need to fill in. So would the first one be 10 over 1?
Mm-hmm.
So 10, and then 10 over 5 for the next one,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2, and then 1.
Yeah. And they said make a sketch of the graph. How would you do that?
So if I put like, yeah, so if you put the axis like that, like when they say sketch your graph, do I need to do I don't, I'm not really sure. Like, no, I don't know what to do really.
So just plot the points really.
So, so for the first one, I'd go coordinates 1, 10.
So let's say halfway is 5. So 1 is going to be about there or something. So 1 across, 10 up, yeah.
And then 2, 5.
So 1, 2. So it's going to be about there.
And then 5, 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10, 1.
10. Okay, and then how would you use that to make a sketch?
Would I like draw a curve starting from 10 going down to the bottom?
Yeah. Okay. Work out. Okay, how about part C?
So okay, so if it goes 10 over equals set 10 over 20, so I think that's 0.5.
Mm-hmm. And so if you added that on, that's 20 across, 0.5 up. Does that fit the pattern of the sketch?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And D.
Um, so I think it's 10 over 0.5. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's saying work out the value of y when it's qr. So then I need to do like 0.5.
No, that's the answer. Y equals 10 over x. Y equals 10 over 0.5. So y is 20.
Yeah.
Does that fit 0.5, 20?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, so it's like halfway and then it'll be up here. Okay, and so what that shows you is that an inverse proportion graph is always going to look something like that.
Yeah.
And that's because if it was y equals 1 over x, that y equals 1 over x graph looks like that.
Yeah.
It's just that we only have positive numbers. This one is y equals k over x. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, so this is just like the positive part, the top right bit of y equals 1 over x. Except this one was like 2 over x, 5 over x, 10 over x. Okay. Exam question.
Okay, so
This is direct proportion, isn't it?
yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, sorry. This is both. Okay, we'll start with A. So how would you do A?
Yeah, okay, so I think what I need to do here is so find what t is when m is 1,
Okay.
and then I think that's like, so if I just go on, so I think that's 2.4.
Okay.
And then I think I just need to do 2.4 times 400,
Okay, what do you get?
960.
And part B.
Yeah.
And this looks like calculator.
So if I do like the equation y equals k over x,
Yeah.
would that be the same as t equals k over p?
Yeah.
So t is sorry, so 360 is equals to k over 1400.
Yeah.
And then if I take 300 to the other side, so it's 360 times 1400.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that, so it's a, it's a pretty big number. It's 504,000.
Yeah.
And then if k is 504,000, so do I then just need to find the value of t equals 9? So do I just need to do 504,000 divided by 900 to get the answer?
Yeah.
And that's 560.
That's it. So that's 560 seconds, because t is in seconds.
Yeah.
What would that be in minutes? How would you get it?
You would divide it by 60.
And what would you get? I'm doing a different thing.
9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as seconds because they left it as seconds. But that's so actually our answer isn't too crazy. It's just because it's in seconds. Like 9 minutes 20 seconds is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one was 2.4, and that's correct. And at 960. Yeah, you got both of them. Okay, any questions there?
No.
Okay, so yep, the most important thing, y equals kx for direct proportion, y equals k over x for inverse proportion. Use their letters so you don't get confused, and then you just find k and use k to get what you need. So other than that, I just want to look at loads of exam questions, kind of what they tend to look like. Proportion higher. Find. So this is what a 2 marker looks like. Okay, so how would you do this?
So if I do d equals the k k. So if I do say 36 equals to k times 5, k5.
Okay. All right, it's 5k.
Okay, and then do I then need to do 36 divided by 5 to get k?
Yeah.
and that's 7.2.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so with 7.2, then I just do 30. No, sorry. So, do I just do 7.2 times 8?
Yeah.
And that is 57.6.
6. That's it. That's what a 2 marker looks like. This one is what they sometimes look like. Actually, this one I don't think will give you any problems because that's the one you're kind of used to. So this one, I'm not sure if they do this anymore because it wasn't in the book, and so I'm not sure if you have to do this. What would this be as an equation or as a formula? What would be the formula for this one, do you think?
Y is equals to x squared.
Kx squared.
Okay, x squared.
Yeah, okay, so using that, try to solve this.
Okay, so so I think I need to do here. So 100 equals to k times 25k. And then I do 100 divided by 25 to get k.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's like 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then do I just do 3 times 4 to get y?
That would be if it was kx.
Oh, so 4 times 9,
Yeah,
and so 36.
that's it. Okay. Any questions there? Any questions about that one?
No.
Okay, so y equals kx squared. I just it's not in the book. It tells me that maybe it's not on the thing anymore. But let me just see some of these worded questions. See, when it's worded, it tends to be like this type of stuff. You know, it's much easier. You just make one equal to. That's that one. And then, all right, this is crazy time. Oh, what's this thing then? Okay, let's try this one.
Okay, so I think the equation here is c equals to a over d squared.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's 12 equals to k over 8 squared.
Mm-hmm.
And so 8 squared is 64.
Mm-hmm.
So then I do 12 times 64.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
There you go. 768.
yeah.
Okay.
So 64. And then I need to do 768 over 0.5 squared.
Yeah. 68 over 0.5 squared. Yeah, and you can see why the book had it as a calculator.
Yeah.
Although it's probably pretty quick doing. All right, there you go. 3072. Okay. Any questions with that?
No.
Okay, so you're able to do more challenging proportion stuff. Oh, hold on the phone. Here's a little. So that's ratio. I just saw one. So proportion is kind of a big idea. It's like it involves everything, like ratio, all of that. It's just that so that's why you're seeing all those bacon cakes type of questions. I just think that you'll be okay for those type of questions. Okay, how do we do this? And this little symbol here, it means it's proportional, directly proportional. But you can see how it's proportional. Sorry, just means proportional.
What's the difference between proportional and directly proportional?
So directly proportional is like kx. This symbol just means proportional.
Yeah. So is it just like y equals 1 over x squared?
Well, there's something missing from that.
Is it y equals k times 1 over x squared?
Yeah, so it's k times 1 over x squared. And then the short way of writing that?
K over x squared.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. Sometimes if they have y is proportional to x, that means y equals kx. And so the k is put in. Okay, how do we fill in this stuff?
So y equals to k over 1 squared. So 1. And then
No, hold on. What is x? What is y?
So is x like 10 and y is 1?
Yeah. So what goes where?
So y goes, it goes 1 equals to k over 10 squared.
No. That would be if it was over y squared. This is k over x squared. And you said x is 10.
So is it not 10 squared?
It is 10 squared.
Oh, sorry.
Originally you said 10 equals k over 1 squared.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
So I think it's just 100 is equals to k.
Yeah.
And then so I think the equation is now y equals to 100 over x squared.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need to just do. So the first one, I think y is 100. So yes, so 100 over 1 squared. I think it's just 100, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then so 100, so it's then 100 over 2 squared. 100 over 4. So 25. And then 100 over 5 squared, which is 25. 4.
And that's it. Yep. Any questions there?
No.
So this symbol means proportional, and so you have to just put in to make it an equation, it's y is equal to k times whatever's on the right, because there'll be some constant of proportionality and it'll be different each time, like different gradient. for a lot of lines. We did that one. So I think that's it really for direct proportion and inverse proportion. So what would you give yourself for that, Andrey? X1/2 or tick?
I'd probably give myself a tick.
So that's proportion. That's great. So it's a high level topic. I was thinking like last week, always struggling with it. No, I'm glad I did it. Because I was thinking, do I drop down and do ratios? But I think you're alright for ratios. Let me just... Where's this thing gone? 2, 1. Just want to see what I was thinking. Yes. So I think all you have left then is transformations. But not transformations of what you're used to, transformations of functions, which are a different thing. Okay, so I'm gonna, it's a big topic, but I wanna see what I can get started. Have you seen this one? Y is equal to the f of x.
Is that like functions or something?
Yeah. Let's say the f of x is equal to x minus 3 and x plus 2. What is the f of, I don't know, 5? Now let's make it 7. What's the f of 7?
Yes, I'm guessing I need to expand the brackets on the right.
You don't need to necessarily. What's happened from, like, spot the difference from 1 to 2?
Oh wait, is it just 7 minus 3 and 7 plus 2?
Yeah, it's just substitution. That's all it is. Okay, go on.
Okay, and that would be, so 49. Oh wait, I need to expand the brackets now, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, just do what's in the brackets first and multiply.
So 4 times 9.
Yeah.
And so 36.
Yes. Okay. So it's just substitution there. What would be the f of x plus 5? How would that work?
Would I just sub in to the little 7 bit? Would I just sub in x plus 5 into that?
Correct. So where there was an x or where there was a 7, you're just putting in an x plus 5. So what would you get?
So you get...
And you can just sub it in and we can simplify it later.
So x plus 5 minus 3. And then x plus 5 plus 2.
That's it. And now simplify both of
them. And then that's x plus 2. And x plus 7.
That's it. If I go back to this first one, if I said that the first one, the f of x is equal to 0, what would be the two answers for x?
0.
So if this was just a normal quadratic, like x minus 3, x plus 2 equals 0.
So, okay, so would it be x is equals to 3 or minus 2?
So x equals 3 or x equals minus 2. How about this one down here that we just did? The f of x plus 5 is equal to 0. What would be the two answers for that?
X is equals to minus 2. Minus 2 or minus 7.
Equal to minus 7. What if you had to do one thing to both of these to get the second one? What would it be? To go from 3 to minus 2 and from minus 2 to minus 7.
You would subtract 5.
That's right. And so we had some function, the f of x. Well, the difference between the f of x and the f of x plus 5 is you subtract 5 from all the x coordinates.
Yeah.
So the x coordinate, the x coordinate 3, 0 became minus 2, 0. The x coordinate minus 2, 0 became minus 7, 0. So when you put in when it changes to the x plus 5, it's going to subtract 5. What would be, how would you get the f of x minus 4? Sorry, x plus 4. What would that do?
Right, just subbing the x plus 4 again.
Is there a quicker way? So when we did f of x plus 5, that subtracts 5 from all the x's.
It would just be minus. It would just minus 4.
Yeah. So, and I'll just write it as a vector. Basically, minus 4 from the x's, and it does nothing to the y. What if you change it to the f of x minus 3?
Yeah, just plus 3.
Correct. So, and as a vector, because it's the easiest way to kind of write it properly, 3 plus 3 to all the x's and do nothing to the y. Let me just make a new page. Come on. So same thing. We had y is equal to the f of x. What if it changed to y plus 5 equals the f of x? What would that do to the coordinates, do you think?
Minus 5
To the x or y?
to the x.
That would be if it was in the bracket next to the x.
Oh, right, yeah, y.
Yeah, so it's in the bracket next to the y, so it's minus 5 to the y, and the x didn't change. What if it was y plus 1 equals the f of x?
So minus 1 on the y.
Yep, and nothing happened to the x. What if it was y minus 2?
I think it'd just be plus 2.
Yeah, that's it. Plus 2 to the y, nothing to the x. You see... Sorry. No, go on.
Yeah, where are you getting like 0 from, like the top number?
Because nothing happens to the x.
Right, okay, choose.
So if you have, like we had these x coordinates, one of them was 3, 0, one of the solutions. Yeah. And so for that one, you would be, like, let's say this one, y plus 5, that would become 3 minus 5. So nothing happened to the x, but the y, you subtract 5 for some of these. So maybe I'll just show you here. So last one, y minus 4 equals the f of x minus 3. What's that going to be?
So would it be plus 4 and plus 3?
And
also plus 3 on the top, plus 4 on the bottom.
Yeah, that's it. Plus 3, plus 4. So this coordinate 3, 0, what would that be after that transformation?
It would be minus 3 minus 4.
No.
Oh, 0 minus. Oh, right.
It's plus 3 to the x and plus 4 to the y.
So 6, 4.
Yep, that's it. And so it's always the opposite sign of what you put in, because when you bring it over the equal sign, it changes. These y ones, let's say y plus 5 equals the f of x. What would that be if you wrote it as y equals? So you brought the plus 5 to the other side.
So the f of x minus 5.
How about the one underneath, the plus 1 thing?
So f of x minus 1.
And the one under that.
F of x plus 2.
That's it. And so because we always write it as y equals. We usually write it as y equals. If you see it as y equals something and the number on the other side, because they've already brought it to the other side, it's -5, and it's not in the bracket next to the x, so it's in the y direction, and so it's -5 from the y.
Okay.
-1, so it's -1 to the y, +2 to the y. If we go back to the x, that's in a bracket next to the x, so you can't bring that to the other side. And so the f of x plus 5 is -5 to the x. So the x is the opposite sign because it's in the bracket next to the x. The y is also the opposite sign when it's in the bracket next to the y. It's just that they usually bring it to the other side, and so it will be the same sign as what it was.
Sure.
Because they've already brought it across. So let's try this. Translating graphs of functions. Ouch. Will my book even be able to load it? Page 600. So what is this one? Translating graphs, right? Find the value of this. Match these. Okay. So they started with a tricky one, Cyan. How do you match these up? Which one matches with which, do you think? And what the sine graph usually looks like is on the bottom there.
I would guess. No, I don't know.
Well, what? Let's say this one, y equals sine x plus 30. What would that be as a vector? What's happened there?
So.
And it used to be y equals sine x.
So would it be 0 and -30?
So if it's in the bracket next to the x, it's the x direction.
So is it -30?
Yeah. So -30, 0. Which one looks like, so is that left, right, up, down?
Down.
X direction is left and right.
Sorry, can you say the question again?
So you have to match it to which graph. So if it's in the x, that's to the left and the right. And so if it's -30, is that going to be 30 right or 30 left?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm see this question. I'm just jumping ahead too much. So basically, if it's -30, 0, it's 30 to the left because it's -30. So the graph of y equals sine x is the one I drew. Which one is that graph but 30 to the left?
Is it A?
No. This one B. You can see it's been moved 30 to the left.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes. See, this book is not good for this, but anyway, I'll have to make a lesson for it next time. Just want to see. they have some questions that are a bit less strange. Okay, so let's say just this graph here. So the f of x is equal to x squared. For each of these, what's going to happen to the graph?
So okay, so for A, is it going to be like 0 minus 1?
Yeah, and so what would you do to that?
So would the Y just go down?
Correct. So basically subtract 1 from all the y coordinates, so it's going to look something like that. Okay, how about next one?
Okay, so
no, hold on. If you were to bring this to the other side, the plus 1 to the other side, you know how it would be y minus 1 equals the f of x?
How?
So if I was to bring the plus 1 to the other side next to the y? Bring the 1 to the other side, what you get for the first one?
Minus 1.
So what's the full thing?
Y minus 1 equals to fx.
Yeah. And so it's always the opposite sign when it's next to it. So what would be the vector for that?
0 minus 1.
Opposite sign?
0 plus 1.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen there?
So it'll go up 1.
Yeah. And so for the y, because they already brought it to the other side, it's going to be the same sign. So the y equals the f of x plus 1. That is going to be 1 up. So it's outside bracket, so it's in the y direction. And it's plus 1, so it's going to go up by 1. How about next one, part B?
So here will it go? Will it just go down to?
Correct. So this 0.00 becomes 0 minus 2, and so on. How about next one? C.
So does this give you like fx plus 2f?
So x plus 2. Well, which direction will it be? X or y?
X.
Yeah, so the y is going to be 0. And will it be plus 2 or minus 2?
Plus 2.
So it's in the bracket next to the x, right next to it, so it's the opposite sign.
Oh wait, so if it's in the bracket it's a minus, if it's not in the bracket it's a plus.
Well, if it's in the bracket it's the opposite sign.
Okay, so yeah, minus.
So that's minus 2. So what will change with the graph?
It'll start from minus 2.
Yeah, so that bottom bit is at minus 2, and wherever else everything is. And then D.
And then I think this will be plus 4 and 0.
Well done. And what's going to change there?
It'll be on the 4 bit of the x.
Yeah. That's it. And so if it's plus or minus, that's called translation, and it translated it by the vector 4, 0, and so you add 4 to all the x coordinates. Any questions with that?
No.
Okay, so that's the beginning of transformations anyway, but it looks like transformations, let me just go back. So that's a grade 9 topic. That's where it begins, and you go from there. Yeah, how was that for you, Andrey?
Yeah, I got that good, thank you.
So I'll send your mum my calendar for the other lesson she was saying. And do you want to do transformations, like finish this transformations thing next time?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and then I think you'll just be into